Hello, Days Faithful. It's been a whirlwind few weeks in Salem, hasn't it? As someone who's spent the better part of 2 decades in the writer's room for Days of Our Lives, crafting everything from Marlena's possession arcs to the DiMera family's endless power struggles, I can tell you that the current storm brewing between Kristen DiMera and Sophia is pure, unfiltered soap opera gold. We've got obsession betrayal, a child caught in the crossfire, and the kind of simmering revenge that could explode across the canvas for months. Today, let's dive deep into the Kristen-Sophia saga, because the question on everyone's lips is this: will Kristen be the architect of Sophia's ultimate downfall? Buckle up, because the way this story is unfolding feels like classic. Days twisty, emotional, and utterly addictive. Let's start where the heartbreak hits hardest: Rachel's return to Bayview. Viewers watched it happen in that tense courtroom scene, the gavel coming down like a judge's final verdict in one of those old-school Salem trials that always leave you breathless. Judge Danby ruled in favor of Rachel, going back behind those cold, institutional walls. And here's the kicker: he made that call without the slightest inkling of the bombshell hypothesis that's been circulating among the DiMera inner circle. No one clued him in that young Rachel had tampered with Holly's medication. That little detail, it's the match that's about to light the entire powder keg. Imagine Kristen's face in that moment. Those piercing eyes narrowing, her perfectly manicured hands clenching into fists beneath Défendant's table. I've written Kristen for years, and I know her like the back of my hand. She's a woman who's survived more schemes, kidnappings, and heartbreaks than most characters see in a lifetime. Her love for Rachel isn't just maternal, it's primal, fierce, all-consuming. Rachel is the one pure thing in Kristen's chaotic world. The daughter she fought tooth and nail to reclaim after years of separation manipulations and DiMera-level drama. To see her little girl sent back to Bayview, especially when Kristen is convinced the real culprit is still walking free. That's not just anger. That's the kind of white-hot rage that turns a protective mother into something far more dangerous. And who's sitting squarely in the crosshairs? Sophia. Oh, Sophia. She's the sleek, confident newcomer who thought she could waltz into Salem and play to her games without consequence. But as any longtime viewer knows, crossing into DiMera, especially when it involves their children, is a mistake people rarely live to regret. We've seen the flashbacks in recent episodes, Sophia slipping into that hospital room, her fingers deftly swapping out Holly's meds while whispering sweet nothings to a confused, impressionable Rachel. She manipulated that poor girl like a puppet on strings, feeding her just enough half-truths and promises to make her an unwitting accomplice. Kristen knows it all now. Every damning detail has filtered back to her through the DiMera network, the whispers, the surveillance, the quiet investigations that Stefan and EJ have been running behind the scenes. And let me tell you, that knowledge is rewriting the rules of engagement in ways that feel straight out of the show's most iconic revenge arcs. Here's where the drama ratchets up another notch. This ruling enrages Kristen on a level we haven't seen since her early days tangled with the Brady clan. She's pacing the DiMera mansion at all hours, her voice low and venomous as she replays the courtroom tape on her laptop. They took my daughter from me again, she mutters in those quiet, chilling scenes we've been teasing in promos. And it's because of her. Sophia. The danger to Sophia isn't hypothetical anymore, it's immediate. Kristen doesn't just suspect, she knows. And in Salem, knowledge like that doesn't sit idle. It simmers, it plots, it waits for the perfect moment to strike. We've planted the seeds for explosive confrontations, late-night phone calls, where Kristen's tone drips with false sweetness, chance encounters at the Brady pub, where eyes lock across the room, like dueling predators. Sophia might think she's clever, her polished smiles, her calculated alliances, but she has no idea what she's up against. Kristen has decades of experience in the art of the long game. She's been presumed dead, she's worn disguises, she's orchestrated corporate takeovers and personal vendettas that reshaped the town. Sophia, she's still learning the ropes. Yet in true Days fashion, there's a delicious irony twisting through all this darkness. The one sliver of a silver lining, if you can even call it that, is Sophia's own reluctance to head back to prison. She's fought hard to stay out, pulling strings, charming the right people, building a facade of respectability that's paper thin. But that unwillingness isn't doing Kristen any favors. It's not born from some sudden burst of maternal guilt or redemption. On Sophia's part, no, it's pure self-preservation. Sophia wants her freedom, her status, her carefully curated life in Salem. She'll scheme, lie, and manipulate to keep it. And that stubborn refusal only fuels Kristen's fire. Because Kristen doesn't care about Sophia's future comfort. She cares about Rachel's safety. About justice for the daughter she almost lost again. I will do whatever it takes, Kristen vowed in that raw, tear-streaked scene we shot last month, a line that still gives me chills when I reread the script. Whatever it takes. Those 3 words have launched some of the show's most unforgettable storylines. From baby switches to corporate espionage to full-blown psychological warfare. Let's talk about that love Kristen carries for Rachel. Because it's the emotional core that makes this whole arc so compelling. I've written countless scenes where Kristen's tough exterior cracks, revealing the vulnerable mother beneath. Remember when she first got Rachel back, the way her face softened, the quiet promises she whispered while rocking her to sleep. That bond runs deeper than blood. It's forged in the fires of lost separation. In every courtroom battle the Dimeras have endured. Kristen has sacrificed everything, her freedom, her reputation, even her sanity at times for this child. And now with Rachel back in Bayview, staring at sterile walls and wondering why Mommy couldn't protect her, Kristen's resolve is ironclad. She won't let Sophia's games tear them apart again. No more. She's already reaching out to old contacts. Dusting off favors owed from her shady past. Lining up the kind of allies who don't ask questions. The mansion is buzzing with tension. You can feel it in every frame, the low lighting, the orchestral swells, the way the camera lingers on Kristen's determined expression as she stares out over Salem at night. Sophia, for all her bravado, has finally met her match. She struts through town with that knowing smirk, convinced her intelligence and charm will shield her. She's underestimated Kristen at every turn, dismissing her as just another overprotective mom, blind to the calculating mind that once ran circles around the entire police force. But Kristen isn't some impulsive hothead. She's methodical. She'll let Sophia dig her own grave drop by drop until the evidence piles up so high, even Judge Danby couldn't ignore it. We've mapped out potential beats in the writer's room that could span weeks, a tense hospital visit where Rachel innocently lets slip. One more detail about Sophia's special games. A leaked document that points straight to the drug swap. Maybe even a public meltdown where Sophia's mask slips in front of half of Salem. The question isn't if Kristen will strike, it's when and how devastatingly. Will Sophia's ending involve Kristen seeking full-scale revenge for Rachel? I'm betting yes, and the payoff is going to be spectacular. Picture this, a climactic showdown in the DiMera living room. Rain lashing the windows, thunder rumbling like the town itself is holding its breath. Kristen, calm and lethal, laying out every sin Sophia committed against her family. Sophia trying one last desperate bluff, only to realize too late that the game is over. Or maybe it's quieter. More psychological Kristen systematically dismantling Sophia's life. Piece by piece isolating her until she has nowhere left to run. We've teased alliances that could shift everything. Will Brady get pulled in? Could EJ's legal maneuvering backfire spectacularly? And what about Rachel herself? Will she emerge from Bayview changed? Her innocence shattered just enough to make her question everyone around her. This isn't just a feud. It's the kind of high-stakes family drama that keeps Days of Our Lives pulsing with life after all. These decades. Kristen's protective fury against Sophia's calculated ambition. A child's future hanging in the balance. Secrets that could tear the town apart. As we head into the next sweeps period, the writers are leaning hard into these emotions, raw, messy, human. Because at its heart, Days has always been about love in all its extremes, the kind that heals, the kind that destroys, and the kind that refuses to let go. What do you think? Fellow viewers, will Kristen deliver the knockout blow that ends Sophia's time in Salem for good? Or will Sophia find one last twist to flip the script? Drop your theories in the comments. We read every single to one. And who knows, some of your ideas might even inspire what happens to next on screen. Until then, stay tuned to Days of Our Lives in Salem. The past always catches up, and the future. It's never what you expect.